Welcome to Bajerski YouTube channel. It's a very different location. I'm here in Bali and I just thought I'd make a video before I head off to bed. It's dark. It's I don't know what time it is, to be honest. I've been working on the project, which there's two actually I'm working on, but one of them in particular, which is called the there's a mosquito in here, so I don't think I'll be sleeping tonight. Yeah, don't tell me a little thing can't change the world and make a difference, because just have an evening with a mosquito, then tell me. It's a little bugger. Well, they're flying vampires, aren't they? And I'm already bitten by it 3 times, I think. Yeah, they like my blood. So, okay, so what we're going to talk about tonight, oh yeah, by the way, it's called the Flower Bible. So each day I'm working on flowers and attuning to each flower. So I was initially going to do them on a colour level. So that means a rose. I'd give you a rose of red, rose of yellow. It didn't work. It doesn't work because all the information of the colours are already indexed in the book. So it's basically a general message on a rose. And then if you want to go deeper, then you cross-reference it with colour and everything else. And I think that makes more sense completely. So I've done daffodil, rose, tulip, carnation, orchid. So I'm doing all the most popular ones, and I keep asking you guys. Oh, I've also done bluebell, lily of the valley, and so many others. But if you've got a favourite flower, just put it under here, and it just gives me ways that I can see other people's flowers from around the world, and then I channel that, and hopefully it'll be a lovely flower Bible. So today's topic of conversation is I think it's one which has been troubling a lot of people over the past few years, and I touch upon it in the Pure Energy Healing Academy on the 4-day course, interactive online course. But we'll talk about it a little bit here. We'll do a half an hour chat if that's okay with you. And it's with regards to healing yourself. And is it possible to heal yourself? A lot of people believe wholeheartedly that they've tried to heal themselves, but they couldn't. You can heal yourself. I've proven that thousands of times, of people who became practitioners, people who came to have healing sessions. You can heal yourself. And it's something that I find fascinating, because the mindset is predominantly that what kills the flow. You see, the human body that we have is not just a brain, it's not just a heart, it's not just liver and kidneys. It's a very, very special and unique spacesuit. Many people call it the divine body temple, and it is divine and it is a temple. And that way, the temple should be looked after. You should sweep it, clean it, make it look lovely, and always feed it what it needs. Now, the world in itself has been hijacked by dark entities, demonic entities, by those that feed from negative energy, they feed from fear, they feed from weakness, suffering, pain, and illness and disease. So of course, if they're going to feed from that, then they're going to create it. Makes sense, right? So if there is an opposing force to love, then that opposing force is going to continually make you think, feel, and see in that way. Makes sense. I think with the energy of love, it doesn't ask for anything, so it doesn't need anything and it doesn't force anything, whereas the opposite effect is going to do everything it can to create it. You see, I think a human, when it's born, if you don't hijack it, I think if you bring it up, nurture it, it comes out in an energy of love. I mean, you can argue the fact that a baby can be tortured instantly when it starts to grow in the womb, because the mother might smoke or drink or do drugs or get consistently abused by a partner. So the baby straight away suffers instantly, it's hijacked. But if you have a mother that's with say a husband or a loving partner, and they nurture that body by eating all the necessary medicines, which is fruit and vegetables and all the good things, the herbs and all the things that are really good for the body, and they don't destroy the body or create havoc in the body by eating processed foods and going to Marks and Spencer's or all of these places and just buying packet food and using a microwave and eating something that isn't food and doesn't feed the baby of what it truly needs, which is generally fruit and vegetables and everything what Mother Nature gives us, as long as it's not being tampered with by that very dark force that I talk about, that continually tries to poison everything. So if you think about this, everything that darkness wants to do is create you to be sick. So they're going to use every means and ways to make you feel sick. So you have to understand this. So going back to this idea of how do I heal myself, if you have a beautiful connection between the physical body and your mind is extremely powerful of love and healing and free from fear and doubt and disbelief, then you're very close to being a very powerful healer. And I found myself that when I went into the practice of pure energy healing, I found that I was nil and void of the brain. I shut it down and went into a place where it just felt so natural and nothing was wrong, and everything just felt very, very natural. So after a healing session, people would say, I can't believe how I feel. And I'd say, oh, great. And at the very beginning, I used to worry while I was giving healing sessions and fearing because of the client would move and huff and puff, and I'd be thinking, am I doing this right? All those fear factors that a lot of healers, when they begin, start to feel. And I realized that the healing sessions were still quite good, but I realized that when that fear, when that monkey mind cleared, the session would be phenomenal. So I quickly realized that there's a connection between clearing the mind by way of, my way was to say all is as it should be, and where I am is where I'm meant to be. And I always used to say my client's here, so they've been brought here for a reason. So trust that reason and let go of all negative thoughts and just do your best. And that was my kind of mantra to heal myself from those negative thoughts that were programmed into me by that very darkness that is interwoven into everything we do from birth till this moment, which is the school system, which is the lies and the manipulations, which is all the non-foods, which is all the poisons that pharmaceutical industry tries to feed you every day. All of that and all of the segregation, all of the hate this person, hate that person. Mosquito loves me tonight. Separation, belief systems, all of these things are there to make us disconnect from this extremely powerful energy called healing, self-healing. And I'll give you another point as well, a really interesting factor. Most of my most amazing thoughts, most of my amazing intuition, and most of my future seeing was done when I was in that space. So I realized that when I was a healer and I started healing, the more I went into that deep space of love and understanding, it was like you realize that this is how our state should be when we want to self-heal and when we want to be creative. You can actually ask and it's a good one to ask. Anybody who's a creative painter, a sculptor, somebody who, just ask them, when you paint and sculpt, where do you go? And they'll often tell you that time flies. And the reason why time flies is because when you go into that state, there's no such thing as time or space. So time instantly can fly. It can be 3 hours or 2 hours, it could be 6 hours, and it's like you're in another place. And the reason why is because you're in this state, this frequency that you vibrate into. And it's phenomenal when you start looking into that. And you can actually vibrate yourself out of sight. And that has been spoken about in many papers, old, ancient text. And it was actually mentioned in my book as well, called Diary, I think, was it Diary of an Accidental Psychic or Seeing the Invisible? Might have been Seeing the Invisible, where I was working on a client and somebody came into the room and didn't see me in the room, and then I vibrated back into the frequency of this world and screamed and ran out. So I do believe we have that power, we have that gift. But if darkness knows this and knows that we have an exceptional power and gift within the spacesuit and the consciousness, when it comes together in perfect harmony or balance, they're going to do everything they can to hijack that. And they do every day. They do by news, they do by false lies and manipulations. They tell you that what is good for you is actually evil, and what is really, really bad for you is actually really good for you. They'll steer you in a direction to be sick, depressed, which there's no such thing as depression. I've spoke about this before. They will throw labels at you, whether it's to do with your belief, whether it's to do with what they want you to believe, that, oh, I'm sorry, you're sick. This is your label now, and this is what you'll always be. It's a form of manipulation by the highest of darkness. And the way they do it is in a form of an energy which is true to say many manipulators do every day. So the black magic, the voodoo, the witchcraft, the worst kind, not the good stuff, the worst kind, the ones who try to manipulate it by saying that this is witchcraft, voodoo. No, it's all con. It's all a con. And they do it by making you believe something. And once you believe it, then you create it, which basically is your illness, your sickness. Now, there is a hijack in the fact that if you don't eat healthy, you can get sick, because what is sickness? Just the body's way of saying you're eating crap, and look, we're going to have to show you. So if you're in pain in your stomach, it's because you've eaten crap. And your body is in pain. If you get, I said it this afternoon, if you get a spot on your face, it's because your body's saying you're eating crap and it's pushing it out. So there's so many reasons. If you have a headache, the headache doesn't come from just nothing, but now the darkness knows this because we talk about it more and more, although they try to, terminate many natural healers. It's out there now, so more people are becoming more awake of this. Therefore, they have to use other ways to attack us. And of course, what they want to do is they want to try and put us into prisons. They want to try and, keep us where they can. Because if you can get a group of humans together in a certain place and squash them in that place and make them sick or abuse them and bring fear into them, there's more energy created. And that's why smart cities are actually so unsmart and so poisonous that you imagine radiation being poured into you, as well as all the lies and the manipulation, as well as all the you have to do this, you can't do that, and then you become more and more introvert. You become more and more imprisoned. So you'll actually be in a prison. Now, in a prison, if you know anything about this, when people are in prisons, there's high evidence that people are in a state of constant attack by dark forces, and it happens often. That's why in prisons you will always see people going a little crazy, killing themselves or doing bad things to themselves, and people doing bad things to other people. You could argue that that's because they're bad people, but I can honestly say predominantly that people who go into prison are attacked by dark forces. Why? Because they feed from them. It's a perfect place. And this is going to upset people as well. The truth is that them same dark forces and entities hang around and like to be in hospitals because you're sick. If you're sick, it's what they feed from. And they'll continue to make you sick and more angry, because the more you get sick, the more you get upset, the more you get fearful of death, the more they feed from that. And so there is entities, there is bad forces in this world. There always has been. I call it negative energy or heavy energy, dark energy. It's always around. It happens to a lot of children who wake up in the middle of the night screaming, saying there's something, not all, lots, but many of them who can connect to these, who can feel them. So these forces are always around us. That's why people like me try to help you feel better after a healing session, because once you feel better and stronger, you start to take your power back. You start to have this great energy around you. Darkness doesn't come anywhere near you. It stays away from you because it's easier to find somebody who's in a bad place. So what's the point? What's the point going to somebody who's strong? They don't want that. They want somebody who's weak. So when we go back to the understanding of self-healing, when you believe in yourself, when you work on yourself, when you go into a state of kind of like a meditation state, a beautiful, peaceful state, when you can get into that state, you can generate self-healing 1,000-fold. So this is what I train as a pure energy healing, practitioner. I teach people to get into that place. And the hardest thing is to break the shell, the nut of somebody who has years of indoctrination, brainwashing, to believe that that's who they are. And we have to unlearn that, because you are not what your name is. You are not what a label is. You're not what your color is. You're not what your mum and dad was, or what your abusive husband did, or what you did. You're none of those things. They were just experiences. But you can always get into the place of healing and a state of self-healing if you let all that go. And so self-healing is ultimately the most dangerous thing in the world to this darkness, because this darkness works daily through corporations, through Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, all of these major pharmaceutical industries. That's why it's all about culling people. It's making them sick, it's making them ill, and they make profit at the same time. So it's a win-win situation. As soon as they get you on a product, chances are you're not getting off, or you're going to go on to other products, and these products are pure poison. So if you can self-heal yourself, you won't go and grab some of that poison. So we are dangerous to them. Of course we are. And we're dangerous to the darkness. So you can see why now I say these things, right? It makes sense. And that's why, the first line of defense is natural healers. And I'm not talking about mainstream doctors. They're not natural, because everything they deal with is poison. So somebody who says to you, this amazing herb heals this, give it a try. So my client will take it and say, oh my God, Mark, I'm better. Okay, good, done, job done. Now, that's dangerous. That's dangerous to the darkness. That's dangerous to the pharmaceutical industry. And that's why so many of us have been shadow banned. So many of us have been stopped, nil and void. This month on this platform, I have received zero, I've got to be careful, zero, because people then start to think I'm demonic, 0 subscribers. And yet I've had 175,000 minutes watched this month. So you can see they're trying to stop me, even though I very carefully touch upon subjects the best I can. And yet, why is it that the brands and the Joe Rogans and all these other massive podcasts are growing to millions and millions and millions? Why is that? Have you ever asked yourself that? Well, maybe you might say because I've not got long hair and a big beard and I don't talk in this fantastic way. Maybe you're right. Maybe that is one thing. Or maybe what I'm doing is actually trying to help people with no intention. I haven't got an intention other than wanting to help you. That's it. And maybe the rest of them are doing it because of other reasons and because they're easily manipulated and swayed into doing things. Not me. Nobody's caught me with my pants down. Nobody holds on to me in any way. Nobody can pick the phone up and say, don't say that. So I'm dangerous, very dangerous. So my platform started growing and it went from 100,000 up to 150, and then as soon as I started mentioning the things that I do, when 3 years started and I started saying I had a really, really bad feeling, that's when I started getting banned and strikes and so on. But it was interesting to see how many people flourished and how many people are flourishing today and doing extremely well. And although they say that they've had a strike, they seem to be going higher and higher and higher, and thousands and millions more every day. Interesting, eh? Interesting. But then it is what it is. And I'm very thankful to be able to still be here and share the message of healing. So how do you self-heal? I think the first thing you need to do is start to look at what you put in your mouth. That's the first thing. So what are you eating? And the second thing you have to think about is what aren't you eating? So what you put in your mouth and what you don't put in your mouth is equally as important. So the first thing we would think about is clearing the body of all the poisons. The number one poison in the world, I believe, is sugar, refined sugar, poison. Clear that out of your system and you'll feel great. The second most important thing which people don't think about is water. Water is extremely important. If you were on a desert island, if you was in the desert, after 3 days of no water, you'd know how important water is. Most people, because it's to the tap, they don't think about it, so they don't even drink it. And yet, water is really important. And I'm not talking about water from the tap. I'm not even talking about water from a plastic bottle. I'm talking about water which is purified so it clears all the crap in that water, because you don't want to be calcified. You don't want to be drinking poison which they put in there, okay? So you need to be starting drinking real healthy water. Now you've got to understand that these things take time. You can't just clear the body in a day if you're 50 years old or 30 years old or 25 years old, because all you've ever done is drink poisoned water. And it's a slow kill, it's not fast, it's very slow. So all of these years, slowly but surely, your pineal gland gets calcified, you get dumbed down, you eat poison so your body can't function properly, and so on. Therefore, the connection between your super high self is harder. It's harder to connect like this. So I talk about this in many videos. So that's the first thing. Start to eat properly and start to not eat junk. Okay, so be careful what you put in your mouth and eat properly. Let food be thy medicine, let medicine be thy food. Something you can look at. This is an important part of self-healing. Of course it is, because the physical body needs the electric energy that fruit and vegetables give you. A raw diet is fantastic. Of course it is, but it's very difficult for people to even consider it. But these are the things that we have to do if we want to change our life, and it's something that you need to look at, and you need to find a natural, wonderful health expert and just go and get some great tips, and just slowly, start slowly and work on that. I always say the more good, natural, healthy medicine food that you put in your mouth, the less crap that you'll put in your mouth. So put more good food in your mouth, and then the less poisons will be in your mouth. It's quite simple, really. From there, it's important that we have to work on this idea of being in a safe space without the mind causing great harm in that safe space. And it's very difficult to begin with, because when you're in a safe space, you start to think negative. A lot of people do, which means that when you're on your own, you start to think negative. But really, when you're on your own, you should be feeling wonderful, because that's your sacred space. This is you, the powerful you. So that has happened because of the programming and all the attacks on you. So you have to battle with that, and that's the battle between the heart and mind. So you have to listen to your heart more. The more you listen to your heart, the mind quietens down. The mind will fight back and say, hey, we need to think, we need to be doing. And your heart says, no, we don't. It's okay. You can rest. And the more you do this, the more you end up being in a safe space without any negative thoughts. And that's when the connection between this physical body and the spiritual come together. 1, the mind quietens. 2, the body then relaxes in the sense that it doesn't have to do anything. And 3, it then comes together beautiful. So the sound of your heart, the sound of consciousness becomes loud. And there's nothing there, but it's loud. You can feel it. You can feel the vibration of it. And it's at that point where you receive information, and you can scan your body, feel what's going on. Oh, a bit of a dodgy stomach. Your 2 hands are extremely important. What do you do with your 2 hands? Well, one should be receiving and the other one should be giving. So you see this on ancient symbolisms. You see it on, the Jesus, the Buddha, one hand giving, one hand receiving. And I've done that for years. But you can also receive while giving healing with 2 hands on you. So it comes through you in a natural way. So you can ask for it, or you just asking is just holding your hand out. That's asking. There you go. That's asking. Without even realizing, it's a natural thing. That's why holding your hand like this and put it down is a natural healing thing. The other hand, wherever you put it, so it comes through here, runs through and goes straight here, and then boom, blasts the energy into where it is. And if you just relax long enough, it's hard to relax, but if you just let things go and just you find that wherever you put your hand, wow, I can actually feel something. And the more you feel that, the more that grows. So it's a combination. So when you put something in your mouth, that's an action of knowing you're going to eat it and swallow it. When you put it in your mouth and you chew your mouth, your stomach knows that you're chewing something, so it starts to create acids in your stomach. Well, it's the same thing when you're doing healing. As soon as you do this, your body feels it and knows it and connects even more to the consciousness, and the consciousness speaks louder and then receives more energy at the same time as the physical body then works with that and then creates more healing. So it really is a combination of all of these things working together to become the best healer in the world. And these are the things, this is just a snippet of the 4-day course of how to self-heal. But I hope you enjoyed this. I just wanted to make a quick video to share this with you. The power of your healing is the most dangerous thing that you could ever know. Because if you know how to heal yourself, you will heal the rest of your life, you will strengthen, and you will share that information with other people, and then you will become a strong soul, which then is really, really dangerous to the darkness, because they need more weak and sick souls to feed from. So every time we help somebody connect to their higher self and learn how to heal themselves, it's almost like the bully in the playground gets angry when he sees somebody who's gone to learn some kind of self-defense, or became a boxer, or started lifting weights. The bully doesn't like that, because he sees that he can't now feed off that other boy. So that other boy's grown strong. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. So if you look at your body now and say, okay, Mark, this kind of makes sense. What do I do? I'd say start to go for walks, go into Mother Nature. Start to let go of all the lies and the manipulations. Stop believing things that are being pumped out Stop buying into the lies and the manipulations. Stop buying into the sleight of hand tricks that every day are called breaking news. Stop feeding all of this very, very clever psyop, mind games. This darkness that is constantly trying to feed from your energy. So every time you switch on your phone and you look at it, that is feeding, and you are giving away your power. So get your power back. Throw the phone away today and don't look at it for the next day, and do something productive. Go to nature, cleanse, clear, do something wonderful, do something creative, and start to self-heal. And for God's sake, start to put some health back into your body. And you'll start to see, wow, my life's changing. I'm not sick anymore, Mark. Do you know how many people say to me on a daily basis, my illness is gone? It's gone. How can it go? How can it go? Of course it can go, because it was never there to begin with, unless you believe it is, unless you tell your body it is. If you tell your body it's no longer there and I am now going to feed that body so it becomes fit and healthy, now I'm going to feed my mind positivity. I'm going to feed my mind pure energy, love, healing. Then the only outcome is pure energy, healing. And that's how it works. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes a lot of practice. But in the end, you'll look back and you'll be proud of yourself, because all of those so-called labels, diseases, issues are gone. And that's all I want for you. So I wish you the best. Hand on my heart, I send you my love. And if anybody's really interested in wanting to really spend 4 days, 4 full days, then please click on the Pure Energy Healing course and have a look at it and see if it feels right. If it does, then I'll see you on the course. They are amazing videos. It's a video course, and at the end of it, if you give yourself 4 days and do it properly, I promise you your life will change and you won't look back. Have a great day, guys. Love you all. From Bali, see you tomorrow on the live. Night night. Take care.